So when it comes to our kids' effort, we need to obviously make sure that they're doing the right things. They need to make sure that they're practicing correctly, right? If they're learning how to swing a bat, like, it's great to compliment them on their bat swing, but it's also really important to help them with their bat swing, right? Or if they're learning how to kick a field goal in football, right? We need to teach them the proper technique, and the results will come. If our daughters practice that dance routine over and over and over again, and they work really, really hard and they practice correctly, they're probably going to have a pretty decent result, right? That's why we want to really focus on the work. All right, gentlemen. So the NFL just kicked off. Baseball season is everywhere, and our kids' activities in their sports, man, they're in full swing right now. Every parent that I know right now is going to games, they're going to practices, little league, high school. It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. This is the time of year where things get a little crazy and where parents come out of the woodwork and they want to come off the bleachers and bum rush the field with complaints and go crazy when their kids are out there playing. And all these different things. So this week on the Dad Edge and our final week in September, we're going to be teaching our kids the right lessons as it relates to sports and culture. Gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Larry Hagner. I am the host and founder of the Dad Edge podcast. I am married to one amazing woman. I am the father of 4 energetic, crazy kids, boys, all boys, 19, 17, 11, and 9. I am the founder of the Dad Edge Alliance. That is our elite brotherhood mastermind for our career men out there who refuse to settle for a mediocre marriage or connect with their kids. And then I'm also the founder of the Dad Edge Business Boardroom. That's our elite brotherhood for our business owners, full-time business owners, the ones who are leading teams, creating products and services, and they have vision, they're leading, and they refuse to also allow their marriages to suffer and their kids to suffer. So those are our programs. That's what we do. That's what I'm all about. And today we are talking what it means to teach the right lessons as it relates to our kids' sports. So first thing we need to do, and I'm going to share just a quick story about all of these things that I think really, really ring true. We need to praise for effort and not for outcomes. Now, let me caveat this really quickly here and just share with you guys that I am not a fan of participation trophies. In fact, I would much rather our coaches in Little League did not give out participation medals or trophies. I love the fact that my kids have to work hard to get a trophy, right? So let me just share a couple things from even my childhood. So like my childhood, I did not grow up very athletic. I actually didn't even really become athletic until later on in life. And I use athletic kind of loosely because it just really depends on what I'm doing. Like if you play basketball against me or golf, you're going to kill me. I'm not that great. But if you want to wrestle me or spar me, like 'cause I did do a lot of martial arts, I might do okay. I might get my butt kicked. I don't know, but I would do better than golf or basketball. I do know that. Baseball, I was pretty decent at. Soccer, I was terrible at. But anyway, like I just remember not winning any trophies when I was a kid. In fact, I think my very first baseball trophy came, I want to say when I was in 4th grade. And then after that, like I really didn't get a whole lot of trophies. And like I would go over to my friends' houses and like, just wall to wall, they had trophies and medals from like soccer and baseball and club and like all these different things that they did. And I'm like, man, like I don't have any of this stuff. And I think our kids can really get hung up on outcomes. They don't really get too excited about like work or effort. But if you really follow Carol Dweck's work, which is creating a growth mindset, she talks a lot about this, which is really focusing on the effort and not the outcomes. So if we focus on our kids' effort, right? So the hard work that they do, them showing up, them being gritty and resilient, and like no matter if they scored the goal or not, no matter if they struck out or not, no matter if they bombed, the dance recital or not, it's really about the effort and the work that they put in to whatever it is that they're going to do. Because if they are only measured against results, that is, to be quite honest, that's going to burn them out. Now, I know that the rest of the world is focused on results, right? In fact, we actually look at it as adults. Like I remember I used to work for this this boss lady for a while when I was in medical device sales, and she said, you can either be busy or you can get results, or you can have both. But a lot of people confuse busyness with results, and you're not going to get results if you're busy, if you're doing the wrong things. So when it comes to our kids' effort, we need to obviously make sure that they're doing the right things, right? They need to make sure that they're practicing correctly, right? If they're learning how to swing a bat, like, it's great to compliment them on their bat swing, but it's also really important to help them with their bat swing, right? Or if they're learning how to kick a field goal in football, right? We need to teach them the proper technique, right? We need to complement the work. We need to complement the technique, complement the form, all these different things. And the results will come, right? If our daughters practice that dance routine over and over and over again, and they work really, really hard and they practice correctly, they're probably going to have a pretty decent result, right? That's why we want to really focus on the work, because if they don't put in a ton of work, they're not going to get great results. And if all we're focusing on is results, well, and none of the spotlight's on the work, well, then they think it's all about the result, and they don't really like that too much, right? It's one thing to get, I always tell my kids this, that like, I would much rather you get a C or a B and you left nothing on the table. Like, nothing was left on the table. You literally worked your tail off getting that C or B, and that's fine. Like, you're learning how to work. You're learning how to work hard. Not all the results are going to line up the same, but you have a really good chance of good results if you are doing the work, right, correctly. Versus a lot of people out there just want to be lazy and they expect entitled results. I don't go to practice, but I expect to be played. I don't go to practice, but I expect to be the star player, right? I don't go to practice, but I want to win the game. And that is not what it's all about. So when it comes to, teaching our kids the right lessons, we like to focus on work, right? Even if our kids, like, they scored, the winning touchdown, or they got the winning run, or whatever it is, it's all about the work. It's all about the preparation. Yeah, great hit, but you wouldn't have gotten that hit had you not spent all that time practicing that swing day in, day out over the past several months. That's what actually got you that hit. It was all that work, all that blood, sweat, and tears, all the time that you spent in the batting cages. That's what's actually got you that result, right? Or the dance recital for our daughters, right? It wasn't the fact that you won the recital. It was the fact that you put in all the hours, all the work, all the practice time to get you that result. It's really focusing on the work, the practice, the reps that get the result, not the result itself. So that's number one. The other thing is this. We like to share real stories in our family as it relates to anything extracurricular. So, like, you'll find my wife and I talking to our kids about, like, so for instance, my wife was a big track runner, and my wife also worked a job. And one of the things that she shares with our kids is hard work, right? So my wife worked tirelessly in high school. She was a good student. She also went to practice. She also had a job that she had to go to after practice. She would normally get home around 10, 11 o'clock at night. She would do homework until about 1 o'clock in the morning, study. She'd be up late, and then she'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then she would get up and do her workout. And then she'd go to school, and then she'd go to practice, and then she'd go to work, and then she'd come home, and then she'd do her homework, and then she'd go to bed, and then she'd get up early, go to practice. But sharing stories like that, to where, like, a lot of times our kids just think that, like, well, you have no idea how much it takes for me to excel in this sport. You have no idea what it takes for me to get an A or B or C on this test. You don't understand, mom or dad, like, what it takes, when it comes to hard work, because you've never done it. Well, no, we actually have. And when we can share real stories of how we've done that with our kids, man, that creates so much more credibility with our kids, is being able to share those stories. And then the final thing is this: play together. Just play together, right? With no goals, no drills, just play. So, like, I'll give you a quick example. I did martial arts for a long time. My 9-year-old just started in Taekwondo. He loves Taekwondo. Like, he's obsessed with Taekwondo. And one of our cool things that we do together is we practice together. And not because we're necessarily trying. I mean, yes, one of the results of this is he's getting better and better and better, but we really use it as an opportunity to just come together and hang out. So you'll find us like in the backyard when the weather's nice, and we'll be playing like really cool music, and I'll be helping him with his punches and his kicks and his forms, right? And doing that work. But yes, he wants to be better. And yes, I want him to be better. But that's not the main reason why I'm out there really spending a whole lot of time with my son. It's because I just want to play with him, and I just want to be a part of his world, whatever world that he's interested in right now. And I'll tell you, like doing Taekwondo with my son it's been a game changer. It really has. My sixth grader, he loves playing football right now. So like one of the things we do is we just go out and throw the football around. Like literally there's no drills or ladder or like, tackling dummies or anything like that. Like let's just go out and throw the football around. Like let's just go out and get some reps, some smiles. I mean, that's really at the end of the day, is he going to make the NFL? Probably not. Is he going to go to college for it? Maybe. Is he going to make the high school football team? I don't know. I don't really care. It's up to him. It's his journey and it's his work and it's what he wants to do. I get to just simply enjoy the ride with him, give him some guidance along the way, play with him a little bit, right? Teach him the value of hard work and resilience and all those good things. That's my job. But this is one of the ways of many that we can actually not only teach our kids life lessons and hard work and practice and all that stuff, but we can just like hang out with them and just spend time with them. And that's really it. I have a call to action for you guys this week. And that is just what is one lesson that your kids learned from this week? So I want you to ask that question of them. What is one lesson that you learned from the sport that you play this week? What is one lesson? It could be about life. It could be about the sport itself. It could be about his buddies. It could be about whatever. But a good conversation starter might just be like, hey, what did you learn this week as it relates to your sports? What did you learn about life? What did you learn about the sport? What did you learn about your friends? What did you learn about your team? What did you learn about your coach? What did you learn about yourself? Just from the sport that you play. And just see what happens. And if they try to lollygag and they're like, I don't really know, or it's boring, or it's this or that, you don't let them off the hook. Push them a little bit. Come on, man. There's always something you learn, whether it's just tightening up a technique a little bit or tweaking something or doing something just a little bit different. What did you learn? What did you learn this week? Make that a conversation starter for this week. And I got to tell you, however that shakes out for you is going to be a good conversation. And hopefully today's show was a good reminder of that. This is our last podcast, believe it or not, in September, which is crazy to me. We have one more quarter as it relates to the end of the year. And it's crazy to me that we're literally in this place where it's the last 3 months of the year. I invite you guys to make this last year as best as you possibly can. So if you're not a part of our data, if you're a career guy, if you're a 9-to-5er, you're not a part of our Data Edge Alliance, you need to get in there and have some killer conversations around how to elevate your marriage, how to elevate the connection with your kids, be healthier of mind, body, and spirit, all these different things we do in the Alliance. Make sure you guys go check that out. You can actually check out the Dad Edge Business Boardroom in the exact same place. I'm going to give you the link for that here in a second. But the Dad Edge Boardroom, you got to be a full-time business owner. Many of my fellow business owners out there, you're running a business, you're building an empire, you're probably making a lot of money, but you might be leaving your family behind. You might be leaving your wife behind, just subtly. Maybe not in a major way, but subtly. Don't do that. Don't go out. Don't come home with a wallet full of money and a house full of strangers. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go out and build your awesome business. Go out and build your empire, right? Go out and make all the money that you want, but do not leave your relationships behind. Do not leave your marriage on the back burner. Do not leave the connection with your kids on the back burner. You guys will find all the information if you guys go to thedadedge.com/mastermind for those two pathways. Or what you can do is just simply go to this particular podcast, which is thedadedge.com/1380 for this show. I'll recap everything that I talked about as far as sports related goes and as far as praise for effort and not just the outcome. How and why we share real stories, why it's important for us to play together and what to do about that. And I'll have this question in the show notes for you as well to ask your kids and to start real conversation around things that they're learning. Again, head on over to thedadedge.com/1380 for this podcast. Gentlemen, go out, live legendary. Take care.